Hey, it's Courtney, and you're watching Power Yoga for weight loss and fat burning. If this particular video gets to be a little difficult, just know that I do have part 1 already posted, and you can check it out, Beginner Power Yoga for a range of motion. All right? This is more for weight loss and fat burning, so we're gonna get into it. But we're also going to be really relaxed and have fun with it, okay? Gently bend your knees, speaking of relaxation, so you can put some weight through your legs and through your feet, so you're not all bundled up in those tight places. Just relax into your standing pose. Take a deep breath. Okay, so we're standing, knees gently bent so we feel strong in our legs. And we're gonna reach our arms out to the sides and up overhead. Stretch your legs long as you stretch your arms long, up to the sky. And then bring your hands down through your center line, all the way down to your base. Inhale, again, reach your arms out to the sides. Look up. Lift your chin, straighten your legs. Exhale, pull your arms down through your center line. Release at your base. Inhale, one last time, full breath, opening to that life force. And exhale. Let's rest your hands at prayer at your heart. This time, step your feet together. Cross your right ankle in front of your left ankle so your heels squeeze tightly. If this doesn't work out, don't worry. Part 1, we did the same thing with our feet just side by side. But for part 2, we're gonna get a little bit more squeeze in your ankles as you extend your left arm out over your left ear and bring it into a full range of motion. Left hand to your left hip. Right arm out over your right ear. Squeeze your ankles so your legs stay strong and let your hand travel down. Switch. Left ankle in front of your right ankle. Let's start with your right side this time, lifting your right arm up over your ear. Exhale, wheel it around, and left arm up over. Exhale, wheel it around. Good, now uncross your feet. Bring your ankles all the way together. Heels together, toes nice and light on your mat. You're gonna inhale your arms up, shoulders down the back of your chest. Squeeze from your ankles, draw all the way up through your fingertips and open your heart in a standing back bend. Deep breath. Trace that center line all the way down into a forward fold. You can bend your knees and walk your feet hip width apart here. Let your head dangle. Turn your chin to look from one side to another. Relax your shoulders, relax your back. Hands to your shins or your ankles. Draw your spine long. And place your hands down. Step back into downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we're going to lift up your heels so you're standing just on the balls of your feet. Legs are rising, hips are pulling up towards the sky, away from your head. And keep your legs strong as you shift your pelvis forward into plank pose. And we're gonna rock over your toes into upward dog and pull back into downward dog. So this time, let's get a little bit more movement through your spine. Lift your heels, round your back, flow over your toes, open your heart, and pull back into your hips. One more time. Press up, spike up, round forward, and open. And then pull back. This time as we come into plank pose, pause here so that you're looking forward. Arms are pulling back. And then bend your elbows close to the sides of your body so that you're hovering parallel to the ground. Then press back up into push-up pose, hips into downward dog. Spike up your heels. Let's put this together. Roll forward. Bend your elbows, hover your body like a plank, and then shift forward, opening your heart, upward dog. Again, if this is really tricky for you, for your arms, don't worry. You can modify on your knees. You can also refer to part 1 of this Power Yoga series and work up to what we're doing now, okay? Leave me a comment if it's too difficult. Check out part 1. Favorite both of the videos so you can go back and forth. From downward dog here, you're going to bend your right knee into your belly and pull your left heel back and down towards the ground. And then switch. Bend your left knee in towards your belly and pull your right heel down and back. We call this pedaling out your legs. Both heels down and come forward onto your knees. Rest your hips back onto your heels for child's pose. Arms can stay out in front of you, or you can draw your hands beside you and turn your palms up towards the sky. After a few breaths there, reach your arms out again. Roll up. Plank pose, bend your knees, pull your pelvis up to the sky, exhaling. Inhale, round into plank, chaturanga, exhale. Upward dog, inhale. And back into downward dog, exhale. Nice. Walk your hands back towards your feet, pedaling out your hips and your heels as you go. Hands to your shins, long spine, and then fold, taking hold of your elbows and relaxing. Let your head go. From here, we're gonna spread all the way out into plank pose. Bend your knees into downward dog and step all the way to the top of your mat. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Rise to standing, draw your arms overhead and fold down the center line, exhaling. Chest draws away from your thighs. And hands plant to the ground for downward dog. Exhale, hips pull back. Inhale, spike up, roll out. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Walk your hands back to your feet. Dance through your hips. Long spine and fold. You can hang onto your elbows again. Let your spine dangle. Out into plank pose. Chaturanga. Upward dog. Downward dog. Step your feet forward to the top of your mat. Forward fold, rise to stand, and flow all the way back in. Long spine, hands to the ground. Downward dog, step back. So this time, we're going to immediately walk our hands back to our feet. We're going to keep your feet together, ankles close to one another, heels close to one another. Come up onto your toes and bend your knees out to the sides. So you're sitting your hips down close to your heels. This is a preparation for crow pose, our first arm balance that we'll work on in power yoga. So we're preparing for crow pose, which is the first arm balance. And if you've never done an arm balance before, don't worry. We don't have to go all the way into the pose today. We get a lot of work done just in the preparation right here, right? Ankles and heels together, knees apart. Bring your hands to the mat in front of you so that your arms are on the inside of your legs. And then we're just going to slide your knees all the way up to the tops of your arms and plant your hands. And then lower your hips. Again, slide your knees up to the tops of your arms. And then lower your hips. Again, hands to the ground. Slide your knees up. And hips to your heels. Spread out into plank pose. Dive into chaturanga. Upward dog. Deep breath. Downward dog. Step hopper. Walk your feet forward to the top of your mat. And if you'd like to spring up into full crow pose, go right ahead. Oop. Fall out. Bring your feet back down and rise to stand. Inhaling. Exhale to your heart. Again, cross your ankles. Let's stretch out your left side body. Give that arm a wheel. Stretch out your right. And switch the cross of your ankles. Stretch out your right side. Stretch out your left. Uncross your ankles. Pull your ankles and heels towards one another. Send your heart to the sky. Hands overhead. Spring from your feet up through your fingers and arc out into a standing back bend. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, long spine, and hands to the ground. We'll keep your right foot where it is and step your left foot straight back into a lunge. How are you doing so far? Leave me a comment, let me know. How difficult is it? How easy is it? So I'm already in the modified pose with the blocks right here. I'm gonna step you through this from our runner's lunge. You're gonna walk your right foot out to the edge of your mat. Keep your hips lifted and begin lowering down onto your elbows. If this is way too much, lower your knee, it's okay. If you're not quite on the ground, take some blocks or encyclopedia, DVD box set, prop your forearms up so you raise the ground to meet you where you are. If you've lowered your knee and you're like, oh no, I'm gonna go back into it, I feel like I can be stronger now. Go ahead and lift your knee up. Press out through both feet and enjoy your body as it gains power in the practice. We're going to come back up onto our hands. Place the blocks off to the sides if you're using them. pivot your back heel and walk your hands out to the side. So we're walking out over the left side of our body, and then we're gonna walk all the way over to visit our back foot. Back foot can point toward the back corner of your mat. Front leg draws long, straight through the knee. If you want to go even deeper, you'll sit down behind your heel and pop those right toes straight up. Call this our tiger pose. So we're gonna be agile like a cat and move from our lunge into our tiger pose. Into our lunge. Heel down. Walk your hands around. Bend your back knee. We're visiting back here. Right leg is straight. Go deeper if you want to. Then come all the way back forward into your lunge, okay? If you didn't catch that, don't worry. You're favoriting this video, you're gonna watch it again. We'll try it again. Step forward and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise to stand. And fold back in. Let's keep your left foot forward. Step your right foot back into a lunge. Now you're walking your left foot out to the side. And you can use your blocks like we showed you in the first side to come onto your forearms. So once you arrive here, keep breathing, keep plugging through your feet, taking a big, wide, or a big, long step. We're not used to stepping this long normally when we take our morning walk, right? Or our jog around the lake. So it can be a little uncomfortable to press yourself further than you normally do on a day-to-day basis. That's okay. You can let your knee drop, and then you can revisit the pose. So we're going to pivot your back heel down and walk your hands out to the right. So we're making a wheel all the way to our back foot. This knee bends, that leg straightens. If you want to go deeper, sit behind your right heel and pop your left toes up to the sky. Shift forward onto your hands, walk it around, lunging. So we're going to go back and forth. Pivot into your heel, bend your right knee, walk back forward into a lunge. Again, wheel it around, visit your back leg, pull away from your front foot, and then come back into your lunge. Step forward, exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Hands to your heart. For our second round, dive in again, exhaling, forward fold. Keep your right foot forward. Step your left foot back. Open your right foot, hands to the inside here. Let's go ahead and drop your back knee, everybody. And come onto your elbows or your blocks. This time, put a little bit more movement in by lifting your hips away from your hands. And then shifting your hips forward, right towards the center of your mat. Again, shift your hips away. Shift your hips forward. Shift your hips away. Shift your hips forward. Lift your back knee, if you can. To go deeper, bring your hand right behind your heel. You feel this hook of your shoulder underneath your right knee. If you want to go even deeper, drop your chin. Grab your heel with your hand. So you're pulling into your core, belly pulls away from the ground. This front foot is shifting forward as the back foot is pulling back. And pivot your back heel, walk over to your left leg. Right toes pop up, sit into your tiger pose. And then back forward. Hands to the ground. And this time we're going to pull this right foot behind you into tripod downward dog. Let's keep your knee bent. And lift your knee up towards the sky. Nice open hip. We're going to wheel the knee to a big circle over the right side of your mat. Draw your knee into your navel. And wheel it open. Stack your leg up over your pose. Again, back to your navel. Arms are strong, shoulders pulling up into your body. Shift your shoulders forward into a hovering plank. And step into your lunge. This time, pivot your back heel down. And we're going to rise for warrior two. So you can take your left hand onto your left hip. Extend your right arm forward. And your left arm back. For warrior two here, we're going to turn your right palm up towards the ceiling and lift your arm over your ear. Left hand falls down on your back leg. Then inhale, elbow to the top of your thigh. Left arm wheels open. So we did this in part one. Part two, we're going to put a little bit more of a dynamic movement on it. Full circulation with the arms. Right arm makes a complete circle back onto your thigh. I'm shaking, my leg is really working here. So I'm right there with you if you're practicing along. Let your arms flow, let your legs stand strong. How about we do just one more? Just one more. And then bring it down to the ground. Into your lunge. Oh, a little bit of relief there. Step your feet to the top of your mat. Long spine, big breath. And forward fold. Let's keep your hands close to the ground. Left foot stays where it is, right foot. Step straight back. So from your lunge, walk your left foot out to the side. Come down onto your elbows or your blocks. How are you feeling after that first side? Are you a little scared? A little scared of going into it again? No, two sides. Okay, from here, let's lower your back knee to the ground. Pick your hips up. And then pull your hips forward. Just opening up a little bit more range of motion for your hips here. And then pick your back knee up. And to go deeper, you'll just pull your left hand straight back behind your left heel. So your elbow is close to your rib cage, close to your belly. Let your chin drop. And maybe take hold of the back of your left ankle. It takes a lot of upper body strength and a lot of lower body strength. Pull your belly, your core, abdominal muscles away from the ground. So it takes a little bit of the weight out of your arms and legs. Then walk up onto your hands, pivot your back heel down, and wheel open over your right side. Bend into your back leg, sit into your tiger seat. Deep breath. I like to turn my chin from side to side. Helps me to breathe normally if I start to get a little tense or nervous or caught in those thoughts that this is too hard, it's too difficult. Just allow some movement to free you right back up. So from lunge, you're going to take your front foot and send it to the sky behind you. Keep your knee bent and lift your knee up towards the sky. Your right leg is standing strong as your left leg is touching the clouds. And we're going to wheel your knee out to the side, pull it into your navel, and recirculate back up to the sky. Again, wheel your knee around the left side of your mat, into your navel, keep it there. Shift forward into a hovering plank pose. Press your back body open into your arms. Lift up through your core abdominal muscles and step your foot forward into a lunge. Back heel pivots down for warrior two. Rising up, arms parallel. Nice and easy breath as you stand strong in your legs. Float out through your arms. Turn your left palm up as your right hand falls to your back leg. Circulate in full circles. Right arm over and then under. Left arm out and over and then down. Left arm, oh shit. Right arm out and under. Left arm over and down. Out and under, over and down. Last time, out and under, over and down. Step up, long spine, big breath, open heart. Forward fold, bend your knees if you need to. And relax. So stay close to the ground, hands open. Take your feet back into downward dog. And let's carry your body through a vinyasa as we practiced in the beginning of this video. Spike up your heels, roll your spine forward into plank pose. Heels are alive, heart reaches forward. As you exhale, bend your elbows by your body and come all the way to the ground. Unhook your toes, pull your arms beside your body. It's so good to be laying down on the ground now after all of those standing poses. Yay, feels good for me. Let's reach out through your toenails though, so we still stay activated. Enjoy the change of pace as you press down through the tops of your palms and pull up through your shoulders. Not pull up to your ears, of course. Pull back. Pull your shoulders up onto your back. So this just takes a little bit of the weight out of our arms, but keeps the power in our body. You can lift your arms. You can even lift your feet. You can interlace your fingers. Let your ankles touch. Let your heels kiss. And then stretch your arms out in front of you. Inner arms close to your ears. Hands down, toenails down. Rise into cobra. Keep your pelvis on the mat. Inhale. And then upward dog. Shift forward and rise. Back into downward dog. Good work. Step your feet forward. In between your hands, let's have a seat behind our heels for a moment. Whew, I'm just a little out of breath. It's hard to do the practice and talk at the same time, so maybe we can rest together for a second. But stay close to the ground, this time on your back. So we're going to draw your right knee into your chest. You can keep your left knee bent. With your right hand, grab the little toe edge of your right foot. And we're going to open your knee out under your right armpit so that your thigh pulls down just alongside your torso. And the sole of your foot is pressing like you're going to make a footprint into the sky above you. Now, as this knee is drawing down towards the ground, you can, if you feel open in your hips and your abdomen, to extend your left foot straight out and long. So you have some downward pressure activating your thigh to the ground. And then we'll cross your ankle on top of your left thigh for a reclined pigeon pose. We're just going to do this briefly, but I want you to take note if you have injury in your knee. You're gonna return to this pose in a minute when we go into full pigeon. So this is reclined pigeon. You can thread your right arm through the keyhole right underneath your right shin and go deeper into your hip by pulling your left thigh close to your chest. So we'll switch. Right knee stays bent, foot on the ground, left knee opens to the side of your body. You'll take your left hand to the little toe edge of your left foot. So your knee goes right down under your arm and just skims the side of your body. Drag your right leg out flat. Extend through both feet. into reclined pigeon. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. And thread the needle, left hand through that space. Wrap around your right shin. Draw your right shin close. Nice. Both knees into your chest. Rock up into a seat and come forward onto your hands. Step back into downward dog. From downward dog, let's pull your right foot forward, but place it down just under your left hip. So you'll have your knee right next to your wrist and your foot just under your left hip here. You're gonna keep your back leg lifted. This is for moving into full pigeon, which is a nice outer hip stretch. If this is easy for you, you're gonna drag your left foot back, lower your knee, and rest all the way down into your pigeon pose. And find a comfortable place. Let all of that hard work that we just did relax into your body. Enjoy a breath. To wake you back up, lift you out of your pigeon pose, hook your back toes, send it up and back into downward dog, and go to the second side. So you'll pull your left knee into your navel, draw it just behind your left wrist so that your foot crosses under your right hip. From here, lower onto your forearms. You can lower your back knee and drag your right foot behind you to settle into this nice hip opener we call pigeon pose. So you can breathe, meditate, all of the energy traveling through your body, your being. Really let the exhalations carry the heaviness out of your experience. So pigeon is a great place to practice long, drawn out, sometimes even quite dramatic exhalations. You can ooh and ah as you exhale. Ah, it feels so much better to be laying on the ground than standing in those yoga poses. I love this pose so much. Okay, enough of that. Let's rise. Let's get back onto our hands. Downward dog. Oh, keep the bliss moving though, okay? Let's come back forward and sit down. Move into our bridge flow. We also did this in part 1, so it might be familiar for you if you've come from the part 1 into part 2, in which case, congratulations. So for our bridge flow, we're laying down so we can just touch our heels with our hands. Feet are parallel, about hip width apart. And we're going to press down into the ground with our palms and with our upper arms as we lift up through the back of our hips. So down with the upper body as we lift up through the lower body. If this feels comfortable for you, no strain in your neck. Lift your fingertips up to the ceiling and pull them out overhead. As you exhale, lower down. Inhale, arc up and over. The inhale carries you up into this full chest. Lungs are expanded with breath. And as you exhale, we come back down to the ground. Let the very last bit of your exhalation go. Once again. Full lung capacity, full body energy. Exhaling, 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 exhaling. Knees into your chest. Give it a squeeze. Feet back down. All right, I'm just gonna go into a back bend in case there's somebody out there who's watching. Leave me a comment if it's you, so I'll know. Otherwise, if you're not ready to go into a back bend, stay on the ground in bridge pose. Some of you I know are just gonna be aching to stand on your hands again and flip your head around into a back bend. So we'll do that. I love back bends. Good. And then rock up into a seat. Soles of your feet together, knees butterflied apart. Draw your ankles close to your body and shift forward. Okay, this is too much of a stretch. Keep your feet away from your body and shift forward. Inhale to rise up, and we're gonna find full Shavasana after all of that work. Shavasana is our completion pose where we let it all go, we let it all flow, feeling the support of the ground underneath of us, feeling the spaciousness of the air all around us, and feeling that vital flow of life within us. Shavasana, if you feel like you've got some excess tension, you don't know what to do with it, move around a little bit. And we want to let our breath and our heart rate syncopate into a relaxing rhythm, so let all the effort go. When you're ready to move again, just twinkle your toes. Move your fingers. And then draw a big stretch as you lift your arms overhead and point your toes away. And then bend your knees and rock onto one side. You can use your arm as a little pillow here. Pressing up to a seat. Namaste. I hope that felt really good for you, really empowering. I feel pretty awesome. A little bit like a truck ran over me, but not really like a truck ran over me. I don't know, it's such a weird feeling. It's great. I feel really relaxed, but I feel really strong. I hope this practice has an impact for you. Leave me a comment. Let me know how you're doing. And again, if this was a little bit intense for you, go to part 1, Power Yoga, increasing flexibility and range of motion. And feel free to go back and forth between part 1 and part 2. Some days we wake up and we need to just like take it easy on ourselves, and some days we need to fire it up, right? So hopefully both of these practices will play to serve balance in your life. Again, do them every day or 5 days a week, 3 days a week, however many times you feel like you can really devote yourself to getting into the zone and